This is Sunday Show Night. I'm Matthew Ellison, and I'm with David Rumelle, who is about to play Dame at the Salisbury Playhouse, starting later this month. Welcome, David.
Hello, lovely to meet you.
It's great to meet you too. Now, please tell us a little bit about this pantomime, DicK Whittington, and your character in it.
Well, it's the traditional Salisbury Playhouse pantomime. We're doing DicK Whittington this year. It is a traditional pantomime, but because the Playhouse has such a good reputation for pantomime, it is very much a panto for 2023. The story follows the traditional lines, but it has a slightly modern twist on it. I'm not saying we've gone high tech and ultra modern, but it is. I would say it's more accessible for 2023.
Interesting.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, it's a great honour because I am playing Dame in this show.
Sarah the cook, one of the great dames, yes.
That's right. And what's so lovely about this one, because normally, I've done DicK Whittington a couple of times before. I did it last year, in fact, in Epsom. But normally, DicK and Sarah the cook, the dame, aren't related. But what is so lovely about this one, I'm actually playing DicK Whittington's mother. The show starts off in Salisbury, and then he travels up to London to find his fame and fortune, and his mother, Sarah, follows him. So it's great to play a mother-type dame. I think those are always the best.
Indeed, yeah. And it's nice to hear it's got this local connection as well, that the pantomime's actually set in Salisbury at the start.
Yes, it is. Yes, there's a lot of references to Salisbury. It's set there to begin with. But we reference it throughout in the song lyrics, in the dialogue. It's always harkening back to Salisbury. Yeah.
Wonderful. And I was reading about the pantomime, and I gather you had this cool cat, Cosmo. How is Cosmo played?
Oh, yeah. Well, now that's interesting. It's done extremely well. She starts off as I hope I'm not giving too much away. She starts off as an animated character.
Oh.
Yes, it starts off as a beautifully made puppet character who is then transformed into an equally beautiful actress.
So a bit like Pinocchio's transformation from puppet to human.
That's right. So it's a lovely touch. When they reach London, the puppet becomes a live character, played beautifully by our actress. Yeah.
Wonderful. How far are you into rehearsals, David, and how are they going?
We've just finished week one. We finished last night. They're going extremely well. There's a lot to take in on that first week. You've got to meet people for the first time, make new friendships, get to know the theatre and get to know the theatre staff. And then we've started on music rehearsals. And because there's a lot of music in the show, a lot of contemporary music, we then got to start putting it on its feet, what we call blocking it, putting it on the floor, and above all, learning the routines for it, which are extraordinary. Yesterday we spent all morning on a patter song in the middle of Act 1. And it took us all morning. And yes, we were fairly exhausted by the end of it, but it will look stunning once it's up and running.
Fantastic. And presumably most of the cast you've never met before. They're all strangers to you, are they?
Everyone is I've never met before until Monday, but it is extraordinary how you quickly form friendships and get on and do it. And I have to say, the cast are delightful. They're wonderful. It's as if we've known each other for years already.
Really?
You know?
And you really need to trust each other, don't you, in this kind of production? It's all about teamwork, isn't it?
Yes, most definitely. And you've got to let go. You've got to sort of let yourself run with it and be vulnerable, trust in each other, trust what the director is saying and go with it. But it is a luxury to have so long rehearsals. We've got 3 weeks rehearsal for this and a technical week, so 4 weeks in total, which is luxury. I've normally rehearsed pantomime in about 10 days.
Really?
5 days sometimes. Yes. Oh yes.
And do you enjoy rehearsal? Is that a part of the process that you enjoy?
I have to say, for me, I'm probably my own worst enemy, because I like things to be spot on and ready as soon as they can. And yes, I admit it. I get frustrated with myself if I don't have it spot on straight away, which is silly, because you have to go through that creative process.
Is it your first time doing pantomime at Salisbury?
It is, totally, yes. I've only ever visited Salisbury 30 odd years ago, actually, with a mutual friend of ours.
Oh, we'll talk about him in a few minutes. Yes. Because he does have a big tradition of pantomime. Do you know, I used to go to the Salisbury Playhouse every Christmas as a child just to watch the pantomimes. And we lived in Bournemouth at the time, so he made this trip, 30-mile trip every year to Salisbury, because of the reputation of the pantomime, the fact that we enjoyed it so much every year, and I'm glad to hear it's still continuing, but with this modern twist, which is very interesting.
Yes, I mean the writers have. I think the bold step is to set it in Salisbury, because there's so many local references, and what I always find with DicK Whittington, when I've done it in the past, there can be too many comics. There can be too many cast members. I'm not saying that in a derogatory way, but it's very cast heavy. Normally you have captain and mate. With this one, because Sarah Cook is DicK's mother, there's no idle Jack. So DicK is sort of dual role as lead and comic. So I think that makes for a much tighter show, to be honest with
you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, you're a week into rehearsal. The show opens on the 25th of this month, Saturday the 25th.
That's right.
And you run through until after Christmas, don't you? Sunday the 7th, I think.
Of January, yes.
Yeah. Bit of time off for Christmas?
Only Christmas Day. and I'm staying up here for Christmas, because it's pointless rushing all the way back to Brighton.
Yeah.
So I'll be up here enjoying it with my lovely landlady I'm staying with.
Sounds delightful. Tell me a bit about your life in the theatre, David, because you've been in the theatre for many years now. I wonder what sort of roles do you normally like to play, apart from dames?
Well, all through my life, even at drama school, I was playing older character roles, even at the age of 20. So I was very lucky to start in repertory with an actor manager who encouraged me to play character roles, which led to the first one in Panto, which was villain, actually. But then I've gone on to do repertory seasons at Chelmsford and Croydon, Leeds, Westcliff-on-Sea. It's very much a repertory background, doing a lot of varied character roles.
Yeah.
I would describe myself in the sort of Ronnie Barker mode, in being able to play a wide variety of ages and characters, which helped me tremendously when around 2004, I was lucky enough to join the cast of Round the Horne Revisited in London. And I ended up playing virtually all those characters at some stage, because I was understudy for them all. I went on to week as Kenneth Williams, and then on tour I did Hugh Paddock. So all that history of playing characters has really put me in good stead. Yeah. Panto, of course, has been a great friend to me. I started off as villain, went on to comic, which wasn't quite so successful, I feel, but then I discovered Dame in 1995 and just built on it ever since.
I agree. I think villain and dame are the two best parts in any panto, to be honest. So yes. I think you focused on the right ones. What sort of dame are you, David? Because there's various ways of doing dame. There's the sort of glamorous sort of Lily Savage type dame, or there's the very butch sort of Les Dawson type dame. Where do you fit in this spectrum?
I would say I'm sort of in the middle somewhere. When I first started playing Dame, I was very lucky enough to have the advice of a brilliant television producer, John Nathan Turner, who gave me my first Mother Goose.
Oh, as a Doctor Who, Jonathan Nathan Turner.
That's right. Yeah. Yes. He was on. There was an interview with him on television the other night. So he really encouraged me to use my own personality and not to layer it too much with a heavy dialect. Because I remember when I first went to him, I read it as Northern, and he said, no, just imagine it's David, gone to a party, had a little bit of a tipple, shall we say,
yes,
and you just let him go and having fun. So that was the starting point I needed. And then I started observing the great dames of that time, well, a little bit before, people like Jack Tripp, George Lacey, Terry Scott.
My mother always says Jack Tripp was her favourite dame. She saw a lot of dames, and she says he was unbeatable.
Most definitely. And I wish I had met Jack when I did my first dame, but he always said, you are too young to play dame if you are under 40 because you don't look like a mum. You would just look like a pretty sister. I was a lot younger when I first did Mother Goose, but because I've always played older, I did have a sort of a head start. So I've always played it as a mum who's warm and gentle. She can get a bit scatty. She can let herself go, and she can become very refined at times. You know, a bit of Dora Bryan, a bit of Molly Sugden creep in.
Yes.
But at the heart of it, she's a mum, and the audience must know it's a man in a frock, but a kindly man playing a kindly mum. There's no blueprint of playing dame. It's down to the actor's perception of it. I don't think it should be aggressive. No. It should be gentle and warm. Yes. And what Gareth, our director on this, is really encouraging me to do is he said, you could do this tomorrow if need be. He said, but take your time, slow it down, be conversational with the audience, and have fun. So that's what I'm trying to build on over the next 3 weeks.
Sounds wonderful. I think you're right. I think the dame's relationship with the audience is pivotal, isn't it? It's if you get that right, you've got a success with the audience. Have to. I mean, every time the dame comes on, the audience should respond and react. And oh, great! It's our friend back again, sort of thing.
Yes, totally.
Yeah. Now we mentioned a mutual acquaintance, and it was
we did indeed.
Yes, and it's Mark Ponsford.
Indeed, yes.
Regular listeners know Mark very well because he reads his journal on our show almost every other week. So we've had many insights into the private life and the public life of Mark. When did you meet Mark, David?
I think I met Mark around about 1991. I was living in Birmingham at the time. He was musical director at the Palace Theatre in Redditch for their pantomimes and also shows like the Sound of Music, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying. And we just instantly just got on so well. And I remember he came to see me in a show at drama school I was in. I begged him not to because we were at Palace Theatre Redditch, and I said, please don't come and see this. And bless him, he sneaked into the upper circle and always reminds me, we were doing this farce called The Italian Straw Hat. And he reminded me, he said, well, my favourite line in that of yours was, this night is turning out a nightmare. And how right he was. and then I was working at the Alexandra Theatre in Birmingham. So we would go and see stuff together there. I remember seeing a very memorable production of The Music Man together, an amateur production of The Music Man, which we thoroughly enjoyed. There was a member of the dancing company, I remember, that seemed to be having a whale of a time enjoying himself. So we christened him Flossie.
Oh, right.
And every time he came on, it was, oh, here comes Flossie. And we've reminded each other about that ever since.
Yes.
And then years later, well, not too long after, but that was the first time I went to Salisbury. He and I went to see a production of Alan Ayckbourn's Woman in Mind. I mean, we've kept in touch over the years, and I was producing my own productions in Birmingham. I ran a small theatre company, and we were doing a very heavy play called Bent about the concentration camps. So he wrote the music for a song called Streets of Berlin. And then later I was doing Elsie and Norm's Macbeth, and bless him, he wrote a wonderful number called Dunce in Ain Years for me. So he's always been there with writing music and lyrics, and he has actually written some lyrics for me. We're doing a version of Modern Major General from the Pirates of Penzance in the pantomime, and there is actually one stanza which owes its credit to Mark.
He's a very talented man, isn't he?
Yeah, most certainly, yes. It's a shame I can't see him in a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but we open on the 25th and he's performing that night as well.
Yes. No, I've got my tickets for that. I'm very much looking forward to it.
I want a full report.
Well, right. Okay. I'll let you know. I'm sure he'll be coming to see you at the Playhouse anyway during your run.
Yes, he is. Yeah. Yes, as I hope you will.
No, I will definitely. Oh, well, I've been coming ever since a child, so I've got to keep that going. Yes. Now, David, I'm not going to let you go today without having you choose a piece of music. I'm sure you've got favourites. Have you done? You've not mentioned musicals as something you've actually been involved in or done. Have you had any experience of that?
I've done a few, and then a lot of review and cabaret featuring musical theatre. I mean, I played narrator in Rocky Horror Show.
Oh.
I did Perchance to Dream, an old Ivor Novello musical years ago, Sound of Music, City of Angels. But mainly I've done reviews and cabaret that feature a lot of musical theatre. Yeah.
So what's your favourite musical, first of all, just out of interest?
Favourite musical, and you'll be pleased to know I'm not going to choose one from that. I could do, but I think I'll keep it a bit more light-hearted. But my favourite musical is Sweeney Todd.
Oh.
Because I was lucky enough to see the original London production at Drury Lane with Sheila Hancock and Dennis Quilley, which was stunning.
Yes.
And I was about 16 at the time. It was stunning. It really was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're going to keep it lighter today with your choice of song. What are you going to go for then?
Well, I think as we are approaching the festive season and we're in panto mode, it has to be Angela Lansbury and the cast of MAME singing "We Need a Little Christmas."
What a great choice. Well, thank you so much, David. Good luck with DicK Whittington.
Thanks a lot.
Have a ball. I'm sure you will.
Thank you. Take care now.